Hey everybody, I'm Trish Christ. In this episode of Our Nashville, NECAT and our super crew of teenagers spend some time with Alignment Nashville. President and CEO Melissa Jaggers and her team are going to show and tell us all the cool things they do in our community.
All right, well, let's go.
Show me. Let's go.
It's our Nashville.
It's our Nashville.
It's our Nashville.
It's our Nashville.
We all know how to talk about our organization during meetings, but what about the chance encounter of a lifetime? You never know who may share your next elevator, notice your logo on a notebook or a tote bag, and ask what you do. What's the clearest, most persuasive thing you can say in a short elevator ride?
The issues that face our students and our families are so complex that no single organization can solve any of them on their own. And so Alignment Nashville was created as a way to bring the resources in our community together to try to tackle those issues and make a difference.
Melissa, we have a lot of things to talk about. Alignment Nashville. Let's start with the basics. What is the purpose of Alignment Nashville?
So Alignment Nashville was created to bring the community together to solve the most important issues that our children, that our families, and our community face. And we know that as a whole, we're always better together.
Nice. Do you work specifically with schools?
We work to support schools, and that looks like a lot of different things. Sometimes we're inside schools, sometimes we're working in the community, working with families, working community centers. So everything we do is targeted to support the schools and the students, but it can happen in a lot of different places in a lot of different ways.
I see. We're fortunate here in Nashville to not only have Alignment Nashville, but we have another organization that I think some folks may confuse with Alignment Nashville. So I want to try to draw some clean lines here. Pencil Foundation. I got to ask them this same question, so I'm going to ask you. I think that I know the difference between Alignment Nashville and the way you help young people and Pencil Foundation and the way they help young people, but I would love to hear your description of how you're different.
Absolutely. Well, Pencil is one of our greatest partners, and it's great to have organizations that we can work alongside to support our students and families. And we work with them, and we do work in different ways. Pencil works and does amazing work pairing partners with schools to provide services that are targeted specifically to that school. In a lot of ways, our work is very complementary in that we're looking at what's needed across the entire district.
Am I correct that Alignment Nashville is looking at systemic change? You're not so much about putting a TV person as a mentor with a TV student. You're looking at broader issues that schools face with their student populations. Is that a fair assessment?
You're exactly right. So what Alignment Nashville is always working towards is changing the conditions in our community, and changing the way that we all work together, changing the way we use our resources, changing the way we interface with the schools and with each other. And so systemic change can sound like a buzzword, but what that really means to us is that we all work differently and that we all keep students first. That's the primary focus of everything that we do.
Is it difficult to describe to people what Alignment Nashville does?
It can be difficult to describe what Alignment Nashville does, but once somebody comes and is able to see it and experience it, then it clicks. Because it really is about how we work together, both individually and as a community. And so when somebody comes and watches our operating board in action, when they get to see an alignment team meeting and planning and strategizing together, they see the power of bringing all those different people together month in and month out, and they see how it makes a difference as a community.
What is an operating board?
Oh, that's a good question. So the operating board is a group that meets monthly, and all of the alignment team chairs serve on that operating board. And they meet monthly to plan together, to make sure that each alignment team knows what the other alignment teams are doing, so somewhat to coordinate. And they also provide some accountability, so they approve each other's plans as they're moving forward. And that's an important point because that still is a community function. While alignment staff bring that group together and we make sure they're meeting, it's the community members that are approving each other's plans and providing that accountability. And it's a pretty magical group. We have about 40 people that come together every month, and there's a lot of energy because they see how much work is happening through all the alignment teams.
And I know it probably changes from one quarter to the next, but roughly how many alignment teams exist?
We typically have between 12 and 15 alignment teams.
Wow, each working on their own sort of system issue. Wow.
That's right. So we have a lot of moving parts, and that's why it's really important to have a way for the alignment teams to coordinate with each other so that we don't have silos of work all across the community. And there are a lot of times where the alignment teams work is strengthened because they're coordinating with each other. So if the middle school team doesn't know what the high school team's working on, then we're not really solving any problems. we have to make sure that they're working together and that they're aware of what each other's doing at the least.
And are teams divided by subject or by age?
So we have some teams that are formed around a target population age range, so pre-K, elementary. And we also have some that are formed around a specific issue area, like family engagement or the integration of international families.
And is it right that individuals from the community don't necessarily sign up and volunteer with you guys the way they might with another nonprofit? Alignment seeks expertise proactively in the community and invites people to serve on a given issues alignment team?
So the alignment team's kind of like a mini think tank. So we think of those as being pretty consistent groups that meet each month to plan and implement. We have a mechanism called the invitation to participate that reaches out to the broader community. And sometimes they do look for individual volunteers, but more often than not, they're looking for organizations with resources to bring to the table. So for example, with the high school alignment team, looking for industry business partners who come into the high schools and help students with their industry certification exams. So it'll be a pretty specific ask and a way to get engaged. But that's our mechanism for reaching out to the community.
Great, great. I think part of what makes alignment kind of mysterious to me is you guys aren't necessarily the public face of the work that's being done with the students. You, it seems to me, are the experts in the background, the connectors. Tell me about that purpose and who you're putting with the need.
Sure. Well, sometimes it's even a little uncomfortable for me to be in these kinds of situations talking about alignment just because we are intended to be a little bit in the background. We are, in a lot of cases, we're dot connectors. And for us, we want the attention and we want the credit going to the nonprofits and those that are on the ground doing a lot of the work. But it is true that the role of the dot connector can be really important in creating a community-wide approach to something that's a really pervasive issue like literacy, chronic absenteeism, some of those things that we know that no single organization can solve on its own. So, we are a little bit like a business-to-business approach. The general person walking down the street probably won't know about Alignment Nashville, and that's okay.
No, it's not. We got to tell them. We got to tell them what it is.
Well, I want them to know about that. I think the important message there is that we have, as a community, we understand the importance of these issues, and that as a community we do have a way to be all in.
What I'm understanding is that some challenges for schools are perpetual, and others can be solved with community effort over a period of time, and you move on to the next problem. Alignment Nashville seems to me that you're kind of the Wonder Woman, pew pew, receiving the current challenge and bringing the team together to, all right, we're gonna our current goal might be chronic absenteeism, and so you put the call out to your potential fellow superheroes who will come together to work on the issue, ideally solving it in a period of time, and then you look for the next attack and go and. Is that a fair assessment of your work?
I love being thought of as Wonder Woman and a team of superheroes, so I think that works perfectly. But I do think that's a good assessment because there are A good example will be our high school work. And our first goal was getting that graduation rate up. And as a community, we have. We've gone from a 58% graduation rate in 2005 to almost 82% last year.
That's fantastic.
And so that changes the conversation.
Wow.
Not that we always would like to have a 100% graduation rate. But I think now we've kind of raised the bar, and instead of thinking about graduation rates as much, we're focused on college and career readiness. How are we making sure that the young people that are graduating are ready for their next step in life? So it's not that we stop caring about high school graduation, but I think as a community we forget sometimes too where we came from, and we forget how much progress we've made. And again, I don't say that that's just due to Alignment Nashville. That's a community saying we're going to tackle this issue, and Alignment Nashville's been able to provide a big piece of that puzzle.
My name is Angie Adams, and I am the CEO of Pencil. And Pencil is a nonprofit organization that recruits businesses and organizations, including communities of faith, to work within Metro Nashville Public Schools to tutor and mentor students. So many people always question, what does Alignment Nashville do? What does Pencil do? How are you guys similar? How are you different? So the way I think about it is Alignment works with MNPS to identify strategic plan issues that could use different or more fleshed out solutions. And they gather community partners to help MNPS brainstorm those solutions and even test solutions. So then Pencil comes in once those solutions have been tested and MNPS has their stamp of approval on them. Then we work to find partners to execute those solutions once they're endorsed by the district. So the Academies of Nashville were created about 11 years ago. It was a joint project, which is a beautiful Alignment Nashville item, between the business community, MNPS, the Chamber, Pencil, Alignment, all working at the table to figure out how do we get more kids graduating from high school. With graduation rates in the 50% level, it had become a crisis. And so to work together to envision creating small learning communities focused around career themes that would engage the students and excite them about learning, because now they understood why geometry mattered or why English mattered, then it would keep them in school. And so indeed, these 11 years later, it's highly successful with graduation rates in the low 80s, so a tremendous improvement. With students really being far more engaged, the level of in-school incidents declining sharply, and students and teachers just knowing each other better and having a greater sense of community. So when you think about the Academies of Nashville, both Alignment Nashville and Pencil were some of the founding partners who were there at the table from the very beginning. And if it weren't for all of us working collaboratively to support the vision of the Academies of Nashville, I don't think they would be the world-renowned example that they are now and attract thousands of visitors every year to come and study what we've accomplished here.
Donna Gilley, and I'm the director of the Academies of Nashville with Metro Nashville Public Schools. Academies is really a way to restructure high schools. It's a different way to do high schools, and I think about it first as a smaller school within a school, so it breaks down these large comprehensive high schools into smaller schools within a school. But most importantly, I think it allows students to learn the general content, the math, the English, the science, the social studies, through the lens of something they are drawn to. Doesn't mean they're going to spend the rest of their life in it, but something that they're interested in, like engineering or healthcare or the arts. We know that kids, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And not all of our students are sitting around the dinner table at night talking about the multitude of careers they could move into. And so really giving students the opportunity to go out and maybe follow you for the day to see what it's like to be on a camera crew, or go with engineers on a build site, or just really having an opportunity to experience the work, to dabble in it, if you will, to decide if that's something they want to pursue in college or post-secondary. Alignment is a founding partner. We have a few founding partners that have been with us since the very beginning. And as a matter of fact, Alignment helped write the grant that helped funded our first initiative. They have just been so instrumental in bringing, their name says what they do. They align resources. So we are able to benefit from their work because they're aligning the wonderful resources in our community to help do the work we need to do, so that I'm not out chasing business partners to get things done. They do that for us, and it's just amazing. And it's really what I think is the key to the success of the academies. You know, there's 3 strands of the work. It's transforming teaching and learning, and that's all about what's going on in the classroom. And transforming the structure, and that's about breaking these large, comprehensive high schools down to smaller, personalized learning communities. But then there's transforming the business and civic community, and that's the key. You know, we work with communities around the country, and that's the one area that's so hard to replicate. And we owe it to Alignment for helping us do that work. And so they're bringing these business partners, these community organizations to us to help us solve our problems.
What are some current goals for Alignment?
So some of our current goals are focused on some of the most important issues, like literacy, making sure that students have the resources, that families have the resources they need to be reading at grade level, which we know is one of the most basic skills that every person in our society needs. We're working to make sure that students and families have the resources they need to be healthy, to come to school and be ready to learn, and really to make sure that teachers have the ability to focus on learning and be freed up from focusing on the things that surround a student and a family that might prevent them from coming to school ready to learn.
What are some examples of that last situation there?
So health is an incredibly important part of a student's ability to come to school ready to learn. And some of the things that our students in Nashville face on a daily basis range from having the glasses that they need to be able to come to school and see.
Right. Wow.
Asthma is a huge issue for our students. Behavioral issues. And some of those span back into the community and the family. But teachers don't have the capacity and the resources that they always need to address those needs. So as a community, it's our role to make sure that we're providing the resources and the support so that teachers can focus on learning and making sure that students are learning what they need to in the classroom.
I'm Liz Atack, and I manage a program called Bringing Books to Life at the Nashville Public Library. So our goal as a program is to work with early childhood education providers, be the preschools or metro schools, pre-K or kindergarten classrooms, and basically connect them to the library's resources. So Alignment is just a really natural way to tap into the public schools and to make sure that what we're offering is in alignment with what the schools actually need. So they just help us do our work more efficiently than we could alone. The library has been working with Alignment Nashville since the beginning. In many ways, my boss, Elise Adler, was on the pre-K alignment team from the beginning. I took over for her around 2012. We have our Limitless Libraries coordinator serves on a team that looks at learning technology. Our studio, NPL Makerspace, their staff works on the high school team. And so there are many, many ways that the library is supporting Alignment Nashville and the work that they do. Around the table, when we're talking about an issue like literacy, it's really a mix of people. We, of course, have people from Metro Nashville Public Schools because we need to know from them what the priorities are and what the needs are. But they know that they can't do that by themselves. And so around the table are different nonprofits and then other organizations that care deeply about literacy. And when I say organizations, it could be the business community or the nonprofit community. And sometimes we have community volunteers who are just really passionate about the issue. And so we get together, we look at the data provided by the schools, we talk about what our individual strengths and weaknesses are as organizations and what we can really offer. And then really just through a process of brainstorming and kind of hashing it out, we come up with a plan, a tactical plan to help the schools meet their needs using community resources and very little additional funding, if any. So to work with the other organizations and have new partners in crime as opposed to the usual suspects, it's many things. It can be exciting because it's exciting to hear about what other organizations have to offer and to learn about other individuals' strengths that might complement yours. or complement your weaknesses. It can also be a little bit scary because you have to leave your own agenda at the door. And actually everybody has to do that in service of this greater need or greater agenda that in theory we're all working towards anyway, but we have to kind of step back, or I have to step back and say, okay, this is not about the library, this is about the children and how the library can support the children and everybody else at the table so that we can all make this happen. We're really trying to just use what's already available in the community and have everybody work smarter, not harder.
My name is Samantha Perez and I'm the Director of Education Policy at the Nashville Area Chamber of Commerce. Nashville is very fortunate. Our community, our business community, they're just willing to jump in and support our schools. We are an immensely lucky community and our schools are really lucky to have business partners that are really committed to supporting our public school students in the best ways that they know how. So being able to lead a group of those leaders who have dedicated so much time and energy and resources to support students is awesome. So the Chamber has partnered with Alignment for a very long time. I think most closely to work with the Academies of Nashville. So the Chamber is a founding partner of the Academies of Nashville, and so is Alignment Nashville. Alignment, I think, is one of the rare opportunities in this city for business leaders to really jump in and get their hands dirty with what's going on in education. Alignment's different teams offer opportunities for those business partners to tackle issues like social emotional learning, learning technology, integration of international families. I think the business community can really find the issue related to education that they're really passionate about and find a team through Alignment Nashville where they can really start to do some of that work with other like-minded partners.
One of the coolest things, in my personal opinion, about our city these days is the international face of Nashville. And with the influx of new people brings different struggles for the school system, where some parents of Metro students, for example, may not speak English. The student does, but mom and dad don't necessarily. Tell me about any work that Alignment does around that issue, please.
You're exactly right. Our international families provide an amazing diversity, and it's a great experience for our students to be sitting alongside students from across the world. But it does present some challenges for our schools, and so Alignment Nashville has worked with a lot of partners through the community to help support those families, to help empower them to be engaged in their child's education. And one of the most important parts of that effort has been an initiative called LEAF, which is Linking, Educating, and Advancing Families. And we've aligned dozens of partners to come provide English as a second language classes, enrichment activities for the students, and really helping bridge the relationship between those families and the schools. And it's always amazing to me to see the partners that are out there that have resources that sometimes they just need some dots connected to bring the people together and outline a specific need. And once we're able to do that, the partners are there.
Most people are eager to help if they just know what kind of help is needed.
That's right.
Let's talk about help for a minute then. So, by federal law, TV stations like NECAT are not allowed to solicit funds on behalf of other nonprofits. But viewers watching right now who are starting to wrap their arms and their brains around Alignment Nashville and your work are going to want to help. What are some ways that a viewer could further your endeavors?
That's a great question. We have lots of ways
that
lots of ways that people can help. Our website always is changing with opportunities either to volunteer, to sometimes what we need most is awareness in the community of specific issues, and the ability to help share and recruit other partners for the work. So on our website, we have a constantly revolving list of ways that people, individuals, businesses, faith communities, government agencies, literally anybody in the community can be a part of. So I just encourage folks to check out our website and see about the different ways to plug in.
It's my favorite part of the interview now. This is the speed round of questions. Like the games we used to play when we were kids, where I ask you a question and literally the first answer that comes to your mind, no matter how crazy, just let it fly.
Got it.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. Got it.
Speed round with Melissa Jaggers. True or false? All parents understand the school system.
False.
True or false? Presently, more than 150 community organizations participate with Alignment.
Absolutely true.
Name 3 alignment teams that people in the community can join.
Pre-K through elementary, middle, and high school.
Excellent. What word do you say more than any other word at work?
Process.
Name 3 things students need to succeed in school.
A great teacher, supportive family, and health.
Awesome. What impact do you want Alignment Nashville to have on the world?
On the world?
Yeah, go big.
Oh, why not? I want to see that every community has a culture of collaboration and thinking about their resources as belonging to the community instead of individual institutions.
Wow, awesome.
Big.
That's a good one.
It's big.
That's a great one. The last one's easy. What's your website?
AlignmentNashville.org.
Melissa, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Awesome.